What's going on, everybody? It's Dan here, back with another Moonshine talking. Welcome aboard. It's been a minute. I haven't really had a lot of time to do videos. My schedule's been kind of wonky. I was supposed to have my normal weekend come up after, we're still kind of like getting back to normal here after the storm. Schedule got thrown off a little bit because I had to go in on one of my days off. So I am now here on my other day off, and I said, all right, I want to do a video, and I'm going to do an album review. We'll get to that in a second, but of course I got a few news and notes. First of all, check out the sweet Metal Miners t-shirt that came in the mail yesterday or the day before. I'm not quite sure which. I don't remember. Anthony from Metal Miners, he's got his channel here on YouTube, which I'm sure most of you are aware of. It's a great channel. He's got great taste in music. He's opened my eyes to a few different bands, and yeah, and we've tried a couple things back and forth. I jokingly refer to him as my hurricane buddy because we're constantly the past few months we've been texting each other all the time. Oh, here we go again, and so yeah, he's a cool dude. I enjoy interacting with him. Another Florida fella, so that's always cool. But yeah, he's definitely a good brother. I appreciate the shirt. It's a soft style shirt, which I love that style a lot more than the heavy cotton. Not to go get too deep into the details. But yeah, and I don't know if you noticed, but I am wearing blue jeans. Apparently, I don't know where it was, some comment section or somebody in a live stream or something or other was talking about how some numbnuts said something to the effect of, "Oh, blue jeans are you wear blue jeans, you're not metal." And it's like, blow it out your ass, you idiot. It's like I don't know. This will be my quick rant as far as stuff like that goes, but I've seen enough of like what is considered metal YouTube, and yeah, it's just that's got to some of the people. It's got to be exhausting being that way, constantly trying to figure out who's a poser and who's a this and who doesn't fit the bill and who does fit the bill and who's dressing the right way and all that sort of stuff. And it's like, gosh damn. I know there was a video, an interview that Justin Horville did with the Internal Bleeding guys because I guess he'd been ribbing them on his channel for quite a bit, and then he finally did an interview with them, and they were probably put it the best. It's like, this is a genre and a style that's supposed to be about bucking the trends and nonconformity, and you know as far as posing, it's if you're not true to yourself, then you're being a poser. That's all there is to it. I mean, that's it's as simple as that. You can define it like that. It's not because you're not listening to the friggin' some some demo that was recorded in the mic was set up in the toilet of a bathroom for freaking like just throwing a name at it, like freaking Archgoat. Just that's I know that's a popular underground band, but it's like, come on, just because you're not listening to shit like that 24/7, it does not make you a poser. It's like, come on, just again, it's got to be exhausting, but anyhow, it was just a little mini rant, just because I see a lot of stuff like that. And it just gets annoying. It's I don't understand why you just miserable all the time. Is that I mean, who wants to be miserable all the time? I like having fun. I like being serious, but I like having fun, goofing around, having a good time, which we're gonna do here in a minute. But what else? Uh, so this is gonna be the Deadpool section of the video, unfortunately. So apparently Paul Diano died. Paul Diano, famously of Iron Maiden. He passed away. I'm not quite sure the causes, but he passed away yesterday. I want to say it was reported. So that sucks. Another metal legend died. Some of my wrestling people, I don't know if you're familiar with Joe Koff, but he was the COO of Ring of Honor, which is a famous independent wrestling promotion. Recently got gobbled up by one of the bigger feds, All Elite Wrestling. And Yeah, he was one of the guys that he kept that place afloat for a lot of years, and a lot of talent came out of there. A lot of the modern talent that I know, a lot of people, you're more like old school heads as far as the wrestling goes, so you don't really watch a lot of it today. But a lot of talent came out of that Ring of Honor. I mean, you're talking Brian Danielson, Samoa Joe, AJ Styles, CM Punk. I know I guess Scott from No Solution. I know he hates CM Punk, but he did come out of there. It you know developed a lot of talent like the Briscoe brothers, friggin' Delirious. He was another guy. I know not a lot of people know that name, but Delirious. He was a guy that was uh, he kind of made his bones there. Ended up eventually taking over the book for the company, and some people like it, some people don't, but yeah, it's just a lot of talent came out of Ring of Honor over the years, and it was very influential. It kind of like it kind of like paved the way, or kind of blazed its own trail between, as far as indies go, when ECW folded, and then that indie style of more like the more heavier work rate influenced by Japanese, the hybrid Mexican, Japanese, catch as catch can European style. That's kind of where a lot of the Ring of Honor, what would be considered the Ring of Honor style. That's where a lot of it, which is more like considered now the modern style, where it's more focused on work rate and less on storytelling, which that's a whole other discussion to have. But yeah, that's where it all started. Joe Koff was the one of the main people behind it, one of the main backers that kept it afloat forever. And so RIP to both those guys, both him and Paul Diano. And also we have to give a give a rest in peace to my boombox. If you watch my channel, you may have seen a couple of shorts. I've posted my boombox on there. The right speaker blew out, and the album we're about to review tonight was part of the cause of it, which is kind of funny, kind of ironic. So, if you will, just a moment of silence as we pay tribute to my boombox that has been with me for probably 14, 15, maybe even 16, 17 years. I'm sorry. I had a kazoo. All I could think of when I was coming up with this bit was Edge and Christian doing the Chris Benoit theme song. All right, so enough of the stupidity. Um, why am I here? We are about to review the album that helped kill my boombox, Mordant Rhed, Eat Pussy for Satan. This came out a few weeks ago on Goatthrone Records. A lot of you are familiar with Mordant Rhed, specifically the vocalist, Revik Vermithrax. He has a YouTube channel. He pretty much he runs that. It's the band's channel, but he does a lot of different videos, discussions of metal and underground stuff, punk, hardcore stuff like that. Does little mini show reviews from time to time. Occasionally does some horror stuff. Very entertaining, very over the top personality. I've said it before. I'll say it again. Revik's got the perfect personality for wrestling. Like, he gets it. He gets that aspect of entertainment. He gets that aspect of it, which is probably why I've when I found his channel, gravitated towards it. Uh, then reached out to him. We've exchanged emails back and forth a couple of times. Very, by all accounts, of course, is the internet, so you can never tell with any of us. But as far as I can tell, he's a pretty cool dude. He's pretty much what you see is what you get. He's a bit of a madman, him and his whole crew there, and it's great. I appreciate people like that. So yeah, it's actually kind of cool because apparently, I'm in the liner notes of this thing. He gave a bunch of thank yous to a bunch of people, specifically different channels that he supports or support him. And apparently, I was in this mix. So cool. Thank you, brother. I appreciate it. That was surprising. I got to admit that was kind of a surprise. Uh, but yeah, this was recorded at Infinite Rape Studios. I'm not quite sure where that is. Uh, Earlier this year. Uh, it's They are effectively a three-piece band with Revik doing the vocals and the drums because I guess their drummer was a flake and he had to fill in the gaps. So he was doing the drums. You got Nocturnal Penetrator and Zerasawa, the ugly one. I think Nocturnal he does the guitars and Zerasawa does the bass, but don't quote me on that. Here, I'm just looking at the thing. No, I think Nocturnal's the bass player, but either way, that's the those are the guy that do the guitars, and then Revik was doing drums and vocals. I'm sure they got a live person to do all the gigs they've been doing recently. But yeah, and the album cover is really cool. I dug that. Like he was talking about they're eventually looking to put this on vinyl. I really enjoyed that. I like especially how I like how you got the figure where it's kind of like silhouette, but then you combine it with the head with the gas mask and the horns and the outstretched arms and all the skulls and the Baphomet and all that sort of stuff with the surrounding press clippings and stuff like that about all the evil, awful shit that goes on in the world. That was really well done. If you happen to see the interview that Revik did with Vincent Crowley, he kind of goes into the process of creating the album and the lyrics, and it was very well done. They covered a lot of good questions, and it was very well thought out, a very well crafted interview. So if you haven't already, go check it out. It was a good listen, and uh, the two of them have good chemistry as far as that sort of thing goes. So that was pretty cool. And he just talks about like Revik was talking about how the way everything was placed from the track listing to the album art to the this and the that, the way the songs were structured and set up on the album, it was all very meticulously done. It was all in house, which is very cool. It basically just handed everything to the Goatthrone guys and said, "Here you go. Here's our album," which I'm sure they loved not having to do much more than just press the thing and distribute it. So yeah, let's get into this. As far as the songs on here, there's 9 tracks. It's a little under a half hour long, so it's a very right in that sweet spot where you get in, you get out, leave people wanting more. Don't stick around too long and overstay your welcome. Definitely gets that. Starts out with My Hatred Burns, which is a phenomenal opener. Very, very mean and nasty, a vicious song. Goes into Spread the Convent with AIDS. I killed 3 people with a crowbar, which was one of the videos that they debuted on one of their live streams. Good song, gang vocals, a little bit more on the punkier side of things. Uh, the Man Who Fucked Life, that's probably my favorite song on the album. I like that. It's got a kind of compare it to Guar, but I'm sure that's not what Revik and the boys were going for. But just some of the riffing kind of that's what it kind of sounded like a little bit like early Guar. But I'm sure there was a black metal band or someone else that they had a little bit more inspiration from. But it even had kind of just like a basic heavy metal kind of riffing to it, which it kind of stood out right away. And then goes right into more like a black metal, like the raw sound. Architects of Disease was really good. I really liked, and this kind of speaks to when he was talking about how everything was meticulously planned out. They use keys and synths on this, but it's very tastefully done. It's very in limited small doses. It's not overdone. They do it on Architects of Disease, and it's about a minute at the opening of the song. It's very very cool. It's I'm not really a fan of the movie, but there's a movie Beyond the Black Rainbow, which is made by Panos Cosmatos, and he also did Mandy, which had Nick Cage in it. And it's a very hallucinatory movie, very like a fever, drug-induced fever dream kind of. Just the whole vibe of it. That's what it's like, and that's kind of what you get from in the score is like it kind of it complements that sort of the feeling of the general overall sense that you get from that movie. It's not one of my favorite movies, but it's definitely it has a lot of that, and that's what the score kind of represented, and this is kind of what that reminded me of. Not kind of, it's what it reminded me of, just something like that, or like an old, very Carpenter-esque kind of thing. Like something with the fog or something like that. But very well done, and the song itself is very good. The lyrics of this album are great. There's lots of misanthropy on it, and maybe even a little Mister Anthropy. I'm not quite sure, but yeah, it's a lot of not liking people and all the evil, awful stuff that people do in the world. That's kind of like the inspiration behind "I Killed Three People with a Crowbar," taken from real life scenarios, and just disgust for the digital age and people's vanity. All the selfies and such. Things like that. I'm sure he and I could have a long, long discussion about that whole thing, the digital age. It's kind of ironic because we're all here online doing channels and whatnot and posting videos and recording. Uh, but I would say it's a little different, not to sound all hypocritical, but it's a little different than, people who are just standing there vapidly making their stupid duck faces and constantly taking pictures of themselves everywhere they go. It's almost like, you just want to give them a friggin' just a big boot or a Stan Hansen lariat right to the back of the cerebellum. You just want to crack them when you see people doing stuff like that. But anyhow, not to get too much in it, but I fully appreciate the lyrics. I understand them. I get them, and it's good. Like I showed this to a couple of coworkers of mine because they're interested in all the stuff I'm into, but they're not really into it. But they're interested in what I'm into. They're just fascinated by it, and I showed it to them, and they were laughing at the lyrics. But I had to explain to them, which is something he did in the interview with Vincent, is that yeah, the lyrics are the titles are kind of like they're jarring, and usually most people, especially more normie type people, they'll laugh at it because they'll just think it's funny, and they're funny titles. But you have to realize that this is a serious band. It's not a joke band. I know I mentioned Guar earlier. This isn't Guar running around in stupid monster masks and doing the whole stage presentation. Of course, there's a time and place for that. There's nothing wrong with Guar. I'm not ripping on them, even though I don't really listen to them that much anymore. But there's a time and place for that sort of stuff, that theatrical aspect. But I think with these guys, the most of the theatrical aspect is the actual physical presentation with the masks and the spikes and the leather and all that. But they're a serious black metal band. They take their craft very seriously. They're good musicians. Yeah, there's a lot to love about this. I would say probably I'd give this a 4 out of 5, and I'm not just doing that because it's on a biased meter because Revik responds to my emails or my comments in the comment section. No, this is a good. It's a good album. I'm glad I picked it up and got to interact with them a little bit. Definitely look forward to hearing stuff that they do in the future. If you're not familiar with their back catalog, they've got a couple EPs, a live album, a couple demos. Definitely go pick the stuff up if you haven't already. I'm sure most people who watch my channel have already gotten this. They probably got it as soon as it was available. Um, yeah, 4 out of 5 on the stank meter rating. Definitely, most definitely. I don't know if I would like Drucifer. I know everyone's familiar with Drew. I don't know if I'd consider it the best album of the year. It's good. It's definitely good, but I don't know if I'd consider it the best album of the year. I would definitely. There's a few that, in my mind, in my opinion, top it a little bit. But I know he and I we have different like our styles, our tastes are a little bit different. So, again, it's subjective. It's all opinion, and it doesn't matter what I think versus what you think as far as things like that go. You just enjoy it and have a good time. But yeah, that's my review. I hope you enjoyed it. And the back end of this thing, I'm sure you noticed the little bit of rearranging I had to do around here. This was for the hurricane because all this stuff is a little bit more valuable and more easily damaged by water than this stuff over here. So I moved all my weights and all the weight set and the weight rack and all that stuff over here because I figured the steel and the iron wouldn't get damaged quite as easily. Worst case scenario, you get a little bit of rust. This shit, all the DVDs and stuff like that, are going to get damaged or legit damaged and probably be useless at that point. So I moved all the stuff over here. And now I'm too lazy to put it back, so we're just gonna stick there. It kind of flows a little bit better with the way this my room, my gym studio is set up. So I'm just leaving it there. The only thing I got to remember is when I'm doing certain things, I always have to remember to turn to the left to go put stuff back or get things. And as a pro wrestler, I'm so used to turning to the right to feed into things that it's going to take some time. But yeah, it's a so I'm rearranging around here just so things will look a little bit different and try to keep up with things. I got to find a way to hang these stupid things because we all remember the midnight situation when I was trying to put up the stupid, not stupid, but the stupid Cannibal Corpse banner, and that thing fell and just got wasted. But yeah, and that's still in here in case anyone's wondering, like, oh, what'd you do with the Cannibal Corpse banner? It's here. It just it's just in a different spot. And don't mind me, I'm not sick. I'm not doing any illicit activity or anything like that. My nose is just running. It's allergies and stuff like that. But yeah, so that's that. I'm babbling at this point, and it is gym 30. I'm running a little late with my schedule, so it's time for me to go hit the weights, go do a little iron therapy. So again, as always, stay sick, stay heavy, stay brutal. Always tuck your chin upon impact, and don't forget to breathe. Everyone have a good one. Go pick it up. Mordant Rhed, Eat Pussy for Satan, out now on Goatthrone Records. Don't worry about it. You can wear blue jeans and still be metal. Don't listen to people like that. And again, yeah, rest in peace to Paul Diano, my boombox. And yeah, and that's it. That's what I got for you. Everyone have a good one. Take it easy, and I'll catch you on the next one. Later.